Welcome, beloved hearts. Welcome to this wonderful telewebinar series that we are doing this year, the initiations of the Golden Rose. And these series of initiations are actually just taking us into a deeper connection to the inner plane, ascended realms, to our elder brothers and sisters. And how we can deepen into that relationship is simply by deepening into our own loving hearts and, of course, holding that energy of love and compassion, holding what we call the higher dimensional frequencies, or the 5th, 6th, 7th dimensional octaves of the new earth consciousness. And of course, while we're still clearing, or when we continue to clear, because each level that we move into, each level of higher dimensional octaves is takes us initially into a greater level of purification. So each time we experience a new octave or frequency or bandwidth, what happens initially is that we experience a greater level of purging within ourselves. The old cellular memories that start to pop up, escalate, or come into our lives. And that's really then part of the clearing timelines, which is again then drops us temporarily into the 3rd dimensional timelines and the 4th dimensional timelines. And depending on what our false beliefs or judgments or programming is, then we play that out with others, and of course other energies that travel or traverse those timelines. So that is also one of the reasons why, some people are still experiencing psychic attacks or energy attacks or implants or entity clearings, as well as, kind of like a cascade of reflections, because that is really part of that work that we have to do. And each time it's just been cleared at a deeper level. And as we do that clearing work, then we hold ourselves constant at another level. So that is part of what the work that we're doing here, is that we just keep diving into a little bit of that clearing work and then holding our frequency or our consciousness. And that's part of the work that we're doing today as a solar cross initiation, is deepening into the sun codes and, of course, that connection that we have on the inner planes to Shambhala, to the Sisterhood of the Rose, and to the Brotherhood of the Light. And this initiation I experienced, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And it was really quite a lovely experience of having this sense of the solar cross being ignited and activated within the loving heart. And also they're realizing that, part of this was really just a template of where we're moving next into embracing all our fears, because really it's like meeting the dweller on the threshold, which is meeting all our fears and our doubts. And as we just completely release that or surrender to that or embrace all that arises, then we move into the doorway of our heart secret chamber. And the doorway of our heart secret chamber is really just another way of saying that we deepen into the soul light within, because of course we all are these amazing, beautiful souls. The I am that I am, the I am beloved, I am presence, and the merging and integrating of all our beautiful higher selves and golden age timelines. So there's a lot going on in different levels. And essentially then what we want to do is really just to be able to face every fear, as I was saying, embrace all that arises, and with us then release to any levels of addictions that we have, because no matter where we are, if we still have addictions, those are lower frequency bandwidths that we're still traveling along. So whether that is to cigarettes or to drinking or to Netflix or to, gosh, I'm not even sure, sugar is also a good one, isn't it? It doesn't have to be very complicated addictions. But while we're still working with that, we're going to still be experiencing a whole lot of emotional oscillations as the soul is still coming deep and deep until that point of soul embodiment. And that I experience as a sense of truly coming home, of integrating, being grounded, of being more conscious within the body, and then as holding that consciousness And we hold that consciousness by not only lifting our own frequency, but by actually experiencing the frequency bandwidth. And those frequency bandwidths then are activated or ignited through the diamond light codes, through the solar flares, through the plasmic crystalline frequencies, and of course then according to our own, we can say, timetable of soul's blossoming and being able to step into the next level of our soul's magnificence and light. And the other part there then is that ability then to connect into that field of unity, consciousness and love, and hold it through our loving hearts in such a way that we start to merge and blend a lot more into the inner plane consciousness that has been experienced, that holds the higher dimensional frequencies for this earth plane. And at that first level, we move into its ascended realms through the threefold flame of power, love, and wisdom. And what is essentially occurring at this time is we're stepping into greater levels of empowerment. So disempowerment is experienced and we're still giving our power away to those addictions or to other people, or not standing in our truth. And of course, the more we deepen into the loving heart and the compassion and loving essence, it's also then taking us into the rebalancing of our own divine masculine and divine feminine spirits. And in particular then, it's acknowledging in this moment, the solar cross frequency is really so much about the light of the Father, the light of Father God. And also that then takes us deeper into the connection to the brotherhood of the rose on the inner planes. So we're experiencing different levels of connection to not only our own masculine and feminine and our own kundalini rising, activating, and for a very long time. What happens too with the kundalini energy is that it's igniting within the sacral, and it stays there because it's where we have most of that clearing to do. So it feels like just a lot of the time like the sexual energy, but it's actually just clearing as the kundalini is just continuing. It says like the serpent of wisdom, we're trapping the serpent of wisdom along the tree of life. And we're moving then into Keta, the crown. So what we experience here then is the solar cross through the heart is also working with the four elements. It's working with air, water, air, and fire. And it's working then with just these beautiful frequencies of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit and the Divine Mother as we make our way home. So it's quite a beautiful initiation. And when I initially experienced this, I got a really incredible sense of the Father energy coming through. And with that, also really healing of those relationships that we have too, with all the men in our lives. And of course, whatever those false beliefs and judgments are that may be coming up for us regarding karmic relationships or clearing that we may have too, whether it's brothers, partners, ex-partners, along the karmic timelines, part of that whole lineage is also being cleared. And that is also part of clearing those karmic timelines for humanity, that we've all taken on a portion of that karma of humanity to not only know ourselves as love, of course, but to be able to experience a full range of human emotions so that we can have that empathy, we can have that compassion, we can have that understanding, and we also have the wisdom to offer sound counsel because we've moved through this. What happens though is that we just, sometimes get a little bit stuck in whatever it is that's coming up, or our environment isn't conducive to us to hold that energy because, we may be in a work environment or a home environment that isn't really conducive to, just those light encoded frequencies, and we're experiencing to a bombardment of other frequency wavelengths. And so it's really important that we take that time for ourselves, and however it works out. And, we move deep into the bodies through our own level of exercise and eating well and crystal frequency energies and beautiful sonic frequencies. And of course, just the people that we hang around with too. So what we're going to do then today is that we're going to work with Lord Maitreya, Gautama Buddha, Jesus the Christ, and Sanat Kumara. And I'm sure you may remember, part of the earlier writings coming through from the teachings of the Golden Rose, in which we were talking about Sanat Kumara and the threefold flame of power, love, and wisdom, and how this was initially ignited through the hearts of 144,000 light beings in 104,000 BC. And at that time, we chose, many of us, to downstep our energy and to come down to the sacred earth, to hold that frequency of light as the portals of light. So all those codes are there for us, and we've experienced many incarnations of holding that threefold flame in different golden ages. And of course, it's been hidden in other timelines through the suppression of obviously the divine feminine, but also the divine masculine. And so what's absolutely truly wonderful at this time is that we're seeing so much more of the divine feminine. And the divine feminine, then we're talking about also, it's our divine feminine spirits within men and women. We're seeing that greater level of vulnerability. We're seeing that greater level of intimacy, that greater level of the loving heart. And it ignites within us first, where we just find appreciation of ourselves, when we start to deepen into loving ourselves. And then through the divine feminine, it's a divine masculine that starts to ignite. So on the inner level within ourselves, then, it's just loving our divine masculine spirit and appreciating the divine masculine aspects of ourselves and what they bring and what they hold and what they share, and how they actually are more active, dynamic, in a flow of consciousness. And at the same time, that is a reflection then of what we're seeing around us, with so much of the divine feminine through women, and that relationship then with the divine masculine through men, or rather we should call it the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, just to be a little bit clearer with the words. So I'm going to just take us into a little bit of a sacred space setting, and we'll do this just as a light encoded transmission and just see what unfolds from this. So we just start by breathing deep into the body once more, just being conscious of ourselves and mindful awareness through the breath, just taking that time for ourselves, because it's always that initial inner journey of how we're feeling, where we are, that starts this process for us. So we take a minute to simply center ourselves. However we're doing that, it's really useful to have the feet on the ground. Of course, it would be wonderful if we were all sitting outside and having our feet in Mother Earth, but we can certainly visualize that, and at the same time just breathing deep into the body, expanding the lower abdomen as we breathe in, contracting the lower abdomen as we breathe out. Just seeing how we're feeling at this time. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose or mouth. And at the same time, we may just find our own body starting to move, just rocking gently backwards and forwards and from side to side. Or if there's any areas of discomfort, we're just moving our body, seeing what our own body wants to do, seeing where there are levels of discomfort and moving into that. And more than that, just appreciating ourselves. So while we're doing this, I want to also visualize this beautiful diamond flame of Melchizedek consciousness, of purity, innocence, spirals forth from the cosmic heart of Mother, Father, God, and spirals into every single cell and subatomic particle of our beingness, within and around our body, and it creates this beautiful sphere of light, this third-dimensional sphere of light, 54 feet in diameter around us. So this is absolutely amazing Merkaba activation that we're experiencing. This is really a frequency field that is igniting into deeper levels of higher dimensional consciousness realms as we visualize within this third dimensional sacred geometry initially of the flower of life, and this is expanding from the seed of life into the flower of life and the fruit of life. And within this we see Metatron's cube and all the platonic solids. As they're igniting, I'm going to just take us into just a deeper level for a moment of appreciating ourselves as we continue to just breathe in love, breathe out love. Or if there's anything that's coming up that feels uncomfortable for us at this time, we just breathe in love and hold the breath and release all that we can. Mokoai kina sia ia kina sia. Inkaino koa. I am grateful for the gift of myself. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for my friends and family. I am grateful for my beautiful body. I am grateful for my loving heart. I am grateful to have this connection to my amazing, beautiful soul. I am grateful to have this connection to my beloved I am presence. I am grateful to have this connection to my brothers and sisters, star seeds, way showers, light workers. I am grateful for each one. And I am grateful to be here. I appreciate myself. I appreciate others. My heart is smiling at this moment. And this deepening connection of light I have with all those joining me on this telewebinar, all those listening to this recording. And I am grateful for all the masters present, for the Christ-ed ETs, for the angelic realms, for nature, and nature spirit's intelligence. And I am grateful to Mother Earth. My life is experienced in gratitude, in harmony, in grace. I completely surrender to the divine. I am a flame of divinity. I am the light of God I am. I am the magical innocent child. I am the soul of love. I am the presence observing all that I experience as I walk this path of love. In unity, in community, in peace, in harmony, in abundance. And whatever perceived challenges I experience at this time, I surrender to it. And I know within my hearts of hearts, I remember I am love and I am hope. And I take a moment to place my hands upon my loving heart. I take a moment to say to myself, I love you. Giving my full name now. I love you. I love you. I love you. Inkaino koa kia sina sia ia. Inkaino koa. I have a deepening sense now of all the beautiful ascended beings joining us in the sacred circle of life. As one heart, one voice, one breath, one unified field of light. Nasia ia kina, imosoa ia kia. I have a sense of this beautiful diamond flame igniting now around my body, around my energy field, and around the sphere of light 54 feet in diameter around me. As I breathe in the light of God, the flame of divinity, the master being I am, breathing in love, breathing out love. In this place and space of love, I visualize now within my loving heart this beautiful golden yellow ray of wisdom, ever lighted by Lord Maitreya. I continue to breathe in love and breathe out love, ready to experience the energy of the Father and the fire of sacrifice. And now I have a sense of this beautiful pink ray of divine love igniting within my loving heart. Ever lighted by Jesus the Christ. Lord Buddha, Sanat Kumara, further experiencing this beautiful blue ray of power and this white flame of purity. I am ready to open the 8-petaled flower of my loving heart into the secret chamber of my soul light, to be transparent in every area of my life. No secrets, nothing to hide. Being the flame of love upon the sacred earth. As this beautiful diamond light continues to expand around my body and energy field, and I experience now beautiful 4 flames expand to touch into a new frequency of energy, connecting me into the light of Shambhala, to the sisterhood of the rose and the brotherhood of the light. I feel and sense the energy, all the amazing ascended masters, amplifying this flame 1,000-fold, 1,000 times, and sending it back into my loving heart. inviting me into Shambhala. I find myself now traveling into Shambhala, and in particular along these timelines of divine love, astral and radiation, this core group of initiates into the temple of love and wisdom. It's wisdom that is within my loving heart and within my higher mind, within every cell of my body, merging into all the timelines of self-mastery. I experience myself now in this beautiful golden yellow temple of wisdom, overlighted right now by Lord Maitreya. This initiation of sacrifice I experience is also known as initiation of the lion. We experience too through what is the North Gate. Through this beautiful temple now, I find myself feeling and sensing the flaming yods of the galaxy through the overlighting of Helios and Vesta, Alpha and Omega, the sun and the suns behind the suns. As this beautiful golden sun ignites within my loving heart, and as I deepen into the inner earth sun, as I breathe through this antakarana, this fluorescent tube of light, breathing in love, breathing out love. This initiation of fire, this initiation of the Father. As I continue to breathe in love and breathe out love, I enter this temple of wisdom facing north initially. As I hear the most beautiful celestial music, and now the chants of Adonai Melech, the Lord who is King, and the Lord made manifest in nature. Adonai Melech, the Lord who is King, and the Lord made manifest in nature. Adonai Melech, the Lord who is King, and the Lord made manifest in nature. And now as I look down, I notice I am wearing this beautiful golden ceremonial robe with the symbol of the flower of life and the six-pointed star on the back of my robe. And on the front of my robe, on my left breast, 4 flames appear. The golden yellow flame of wisdom, pink flame of divine love, blue flame of power, and the white flame of purity, enfolded within the symbol of the soul of Christ. And I see around me now all these beautiful ascended masters It's Lord Maitreya who comes forward initially, drawing this magical circle. And now I see myself joining thousands of initiates, sitting in this magical circle and surrounding Mother Earth and all her life. These beautiful temple flames of light, holding the focus, God's infinite patterns of perfection, transmutation, transformation, peace and love. And above this, I see this beautiful golden sun. And beyond this, the suns, beyond the suns, linking me into the heart of God and the light of the Father. And I bow to the light of the Father, complete surrender, as this illumination, this beautiful golden yellow flame ignites within my crown chakra, bringing through the element of fire, this fire of sacrifice. I am asked to release old patternings, conditionings, outdated programmings, to assist in realigning my body to the body templates of the new codings through the dormant DNA of solar expansion to deeper levels of my own soul light. Now have a sense of the solar sun rays. I may experience this heat within my body, this sense of the subatomic particles spinning in increased light. And as I breathe in now, hold my breath. And as I breathe out, I release all that is ready to be released. I am ready to sacrifice all that initially feels it needs to be sacrificed. I am ready to experience the next level of my service within love, to commit myself simply to being of service to humanity, to all life, to seeing the Buddha and Mother Mary and Kuan Yin and Jesus the Christ and every person I meet, to see this through my loving heart and master eyes as we see you. To feel the smile of the heart, to know that nothing is ever really lost. It is only gained in spiritual wisdom, understanding, love. I choose to surrender to love. I choose to surrender to life. And I simply allow these old traumas, pains, false beliefs, judgments, and outdated programs to be released. As I breathe in love, hold my breath, and release all that is ready to be released. And we are ready to experience now this first initiation. This initiation of the golden yellow ray of wisdom and illumination. Just focus on the crown chakra as we embrace the energy of the Father, illuminated by the sun and the suns behind the sun. Within this beautiful temple of wisdom, we are wrapped in this golden yellow flame of wisdom, overlighting of Lord Maitreya. All the beautiful ascended masters joining at this time. And we feel now and sense now the knowing that we are initiates of light on the inner planes, dressed in our golden robes, 4 flames appearing upon the breast. This beautiful yellow golden flame of wisdom, the pink flame of love, blue flame of power, and this white flame of purity. All that we need to experience in this now moment amplifies within our loving heart. As Lord Maitreya creates this magical ceremonial circle, we now find ourselves in this circle of initiate, surrounding Mother Earth and all her life, these temple flames of light, and holding the focus of God's infinite patterns of perfection, transmutation, transformation, peace, and love. Igniting this through the hearts and minds of all awakened souls upon this sacred earth, as we come together as one heart and one love. In this initiation of fire, fire of sacrifice, we are ready to truly surrender, to trust, to love. As the cellular matrix of the solar initiation occurs, the subatomic particles within the body spin and increase light frequency. As we release our programmings, old memories, outdated beliefs, no longer serving us as the warriors of light, as the flames of divinity, as the light of God we are upon the sacred earth. We now sense this golden solar sun disk of light ignite within our loving hearts as we connect into the inner earth sun, and from the sun within our loving hearts to the sun, central sun, great central sun, to the overlighting of Helios and Vesta, to the overlighting of Malkuth, to the overlighting of Alpha and Omega, to the heart of Mother, Father, God, and in particular, opening to receive the loving energy of the Divine Father. We feel this now. This beautiful golden solar sun disk ignites through the chakras, clearing any level of distorted patternings, misalignments, programmings, judgments, ready to be released in this now. Golden solar sun disk of light ignites into the unity grid of divine love. From our loving hearts as we connect into the loving hearts of all awakened souls, all awakened light workers, way showers, grid keepers, flames of divinity. And from the unity grid, we connect into the 12 solar sun discs around the sacred earth, holding the keys of solar expansion, vortices, stargates, frequencies of love and remembrance, the parallel realities of golden ages and timelines, of unity consciousness that are being dropped into this reality from parallel realities. There are timelines that we are walking, timelines of Lemuria, timelines of Atlantis, timelines of love. Inkwakina sia iakia, ina sia kina sia, inkaino kwa. Golden solar sun disk now brings through frequencies of these 12 solar sun discs. And they ignite now through each one of the 12 chakras as we just allow this for a moment to unfold. Just breathe in love, breathe out love. Through the Earth Star Chakra, grounding into the energy of the earth, of Mother Earth. We center ourselves more deeply into the heartbeat of Mother Earth. through the base chakra. We release all issues of survival as we deepen into abundance consciousness, being supported by the universe. Bringing these templates on as we experience this golden solar sun disc ignite within the chakra and connecting to different geographical areas as vortices and stargates, having a sense of how this is moving through the south. It's vibrating stargates through the dormant DNA. It's both receivers and transmitters, bringing online the new codex of solar Christ consciousness. Through the sacral, as we deepen into the connection of the divine feminine, the divine masculine within, karmic timelines dissolve, hurts, betrayals, lack of trust, suppressed sexual energy. Allow the Kundalini to flow as we move into the rhythm of the body, as it moves backwards and forwards and from side to side in its own rhythm, balance, and dance. Through the solar plexus, we come deep into power. Come deep into being able to extend ourselves in service as we draw upon those templates. Through golden ages, timelines of love, into the heart, to sense the radiance of our own soul light. Our magnificence, our divinity. Through the thymus, upper heart, into deeper levels of service, releasing sorrow, releasing distortions of lack of any area of our lives. Through the throat, all of this radiating out into the etheric body, this beautiful golden yellow flame of light, healing the physical body too, bringing online not only these solar codes but levels of rejuvenation, regeneration, and knowing. As we find our voices, our authentic voices, expressions of self, moving forward from this moment in the utterance and expression of our spiritual realities and expressions of our spiritual truth. Through the third eye, the solar sun disc ignites, brings vision and understanding, moving into the pituitary, the pineal, hypothalamus, thalamus glands, to the crown. We see this beautiful reactivation and ignition, consciousness and light unfold as a clear conduit to the company of heaven, the son and daughter upon this sacred earth, in the embrace of Father God. We simply surrender. There is nothing that will take this focus from the heart of God. This is the fire of sacrifice, from the space and place of love and power and wisdom. Solar sun disk ignites into the female chakra just above the crown, to the left of the body, to the feminine energy within us, acknowledging and loving our divine feminine spirit. And into divine masculine chakra above the crown to the right of us, acknowledging and loving our divine masculine spirit, essentially shifting to own alchemical marriage to that of the divine child, to the innocence and magic, purity, and now into the soul star chakra. And lastly, feeling, sensing the soul, the beloved I am, that I am, into the Alpha Omega portal, 24 feet above the crown chakra. And as through this portal we see the golden solar sun discs come together as one. As we see our own chakras now unify as this column of light, breathing in wisdom, breathing out wisdom, the Antakarana fluorescent tube of light, the rainbow bridge into the heart of God. In Kaino Koa Kia, Sina Kia, in Kaino Koa. We are ready to be more fluid in our realities. We are ready to experience different levels of our own divine loving heart in service to Mother Earth and all her life. From the initiation of the word in spirit, Lord Gautama Buddha, Lord Buddha comes forward, embracing us within his loving heart. The sons and daughters of God. Just feel this beautiful, loving energy of the Holy Spirit uniting within our loving heart. As we enter now to this beautiful temple of love, wrapped in this pink flame of love. The second initiation is related to the element of earth, the physical body, right into appreciating and loving our bodies as the temples of light they are. And in that honoring and in that love, choosing simply to worship our bodies as the God, goddesses we are. Gently, we walk this path of love. Lovingly, we embrace ourselves. Through the heart of love. We embrace every situation we encounter, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. But to experience this initiation, we are also asked to look at our earthly relationships. To deepen into the heart of love, the Holy Spirit, an aspect of the energy of the Divine Mother. We need to heal the wounds of all relationships. We need to see the blessings within every experience. For only then are the karmic timelines complete. Only then do the lower timelines dissolve. And so we draw upon the strength of Mother Earth, of Gaia. As we have a sense for a moment, this beautiful pink flame surround us and ignite within our loving hearts. This connection to our higher selves and beloved I am presence expands. In this initiation of love, we truly honor that we are here as love, in service to all life. And when we do this, we see all those around us as Buddhas, Kuan Yins, as Jesus the Christ, and Mother Mary. When we can look through our loving hearts, the eyes of clarity, we release judgment. And we are asked to do this now, to release any residue of judgment, blame, resentment, unforgiveness we may hold or harbor as others or another. So as we come deep into our loving hearts and feel what's there for us, it may still need to be released, whether it's our pain or sorrow, resentment, perhaps even wondering why we keep repeating particular behavioral patterns, why life seems such a struggle, why we're always surrounded by people that are disharmonious. Bring it inwards to understand we are clearing the lower timelines and to hold our frequency in the heart of love. These timelines must dissolve, which means energy, attachment to the particular characters that played out particular roles or may still do along the karmic timelines need to be released. Only then is this initiation of love complete. So we breathe in love and breathe out love. And as this flame of love expands from within our loving hearts, touches the hearts of all those we may still need to resolve our differences on any level. As we ignite this flame of the Holy Spirit within our loving heart, overlighting of Lord Buddha, as we feel the love of the Divine Father, the Divine Mother. We now state, I am ready to release any level of blame, unforgiveness, judgment of myself and others as I walk this path of love. I know as I do so, these timelines will dissolve. This has been a self-created prison on one level, and on another, choice in serving the sacred earth. And as I feel the grounding and connection into the heart of Mother Earth, as I feel her womb-like presence and sense myself within this void, I hear the voices, all the souls that I connected to and chose these pre-birth agreements with. To know myself as love. The voices that come forward through the souls that had to their inability to clear the karmic timeline, or who chose to experience the karmic timelines with me, so I could accelerate my own soul's blossoming, magnificence, and light. But each soul at this higher light level is love, and at this earthly level, I am able to see the blessing and embrace all that arises to know myself as love. And as I find myself for a moment now hearing these voices, see which are those that are very loud still to me, that I need to bring attention to, that are taking me into the lower timelines of what I need to still clear and dissolve, release, let go of. And I honor this journey, and I honor all that I experience, and I am grateful to it, because it has brought me to this point of my magnificence and light. And I celebrate that. I celebrate myself, and I celebrate so many of those around me as I see their light, as I see their gifts. And when my heart is sad, angry, full of pain, suffering. I know it is because I still need to forgive myself or another, or release blame, or release judgment. And so the voices that speak to me first, that are loud and uncomfortable, angry or mad, I tune into those pre-birth agreements I have made. I remember that I made, for the most part, with every soul, an agreement of accelerated growth and love for my highest good, for the highest outcome, for their highest good, and for their highest outcome. I reach out to this soul, these souls, wrapped in this pink flame of love. I celebrate their divinity, looking through my master eyes. No matter how uncomfortable the experience is or was, I find the appreciation and the blessings. And with this ability to celebrate my growth through each unique experience I have had and continue to have. I take a moment to simply love and forgive myself, if that's what I need to do right now. I forgive you, I love you, I see you. I am ready to completely experience the flame of the Holy Spirit within my loving heart. I am ready to surrender to the heart of love, to trust, to let go, to let go. And if I would like, and it feels right for me, I can choose to forgive this person. Or I can simply just choose to forgive myself for imagining I was anything less than love. I embrace and love myself along these karmic timelines. I wrap myself in this pink flame of love. And I wrap all those that I am in these particular situations up with, to know myself as love. Koa kia sina kia. Inkaino koa. Flame of the Holy Spirit ignites within my loving heart. Moving into every cell of my body, I feel the overlighting of Lord Buddha, the planetary Logos. Embraced within Lord Buddha's loving heart. I am safe. I am protected. I can be vulnerable. I can be intimate. I can be transparent. I can be lovable. All is well. All is well. Nkaino koakia sina. Nimosoaia. I continue to breathe in love, hold my breath, and breathe out love. And now I find myself deepening into surrender. As my body strengthens in the light of the divine pink flame of love. It rejuvenates and regenerates. I find myself now in this beautiful temple of power, wrapped in this blue flame of power, lighted by Jesus the Christ Ananda. This is an initiation, surrender, also known as initiation of man, because it requires of us at this level on the mental plane is to completely surrender ego, only then to re-experience a resurrection code, an ascension code, to lifting ourselves completely out of the victim and persecutor consciousness and the lower mind, healing the bodies, the flame of love. We have a look at the frozen miasms and thought forms around the body, to the energy field wrapped in this beautiful blue flame of love. What does it bring for us? What is experience? Which aspect of our lower mind, ego consciousness, which imagines itself to be separate to the divine, plays out the roles of victim and persecutor consciousness. And even as we see and sense these plays, we can simply observe the observer, also understanding that it's time to come down from the cross, that is where our consciousness still is. Because we have crucified ourselves over and over and over again. In particular, we surrender the sorrow of what we may have experienced, the sorrow of what we see when we look around the earth through empathetic frequencies that ignite and act within each one of us. There's a level of detachment that comes in here, holding the space of compassion. And it observes too our own timelines in which we experience this pain. It gives us the courage to simply love and embrace and trust and know all is unfolding perfectly and as it should be and as it is. There are no victims. There are no persecutors. In the new earth, realities, there is love, which lights our heart, which illuminates our minds, releasing us from the lower thought forms, imaginings of the lower mind. And as this blue flame ignites ever deeper within our loving heart, have a sense for a moment of going deeper, deeper, deeper now to the stillness of our loving heart. Breathing in love, breathing in wisdom, breathing in power, breathing out wisdom, breathing out love, breathing out power. We can also create a mantra or a sound that comes to mind when we move into the lower frequencies, thought forms. So this could be Mani Padme Hum, Om, or large language activations. Whatever comes to mind to release, let go of the victim persecutor consciousness as it releases now. As we deepen into power, power, courage, strength, might, hearing the guidance of God. Inasia ia kino soa ia, inkaino koa, imo soa ia, inkaino koa. This is the initiation of the sun, the element of air, of the mental consciousness. And it really is one of sacrifice. This initiation of fire, of the lion, is one of sacrifice and wisdom. And one of earth, and Buddha, it's one of love. It's one of service. This initiation is one of surrender. Only then do we become the empowered warriors of the heart. And we allow this beautiful blue flame to dissolve all the frozen miasms around the body and in the mental plane, to dissolve all victim persecutor consciousness, to dissolve all worry and stress, if it is for our highest good, as we embrace within the heart of Jesus the Christ, letting us know we are the power, the love, and the glory of God, as the sons and daughters of God. We are the Christed ones, walking the sacred earth, lifting the consciousness of others through our loving hearts and higher minds of wisdom, empowered warriors of light. As we now affirm, I stand with my sword of holy truth, wrapped in the blue flame of power. I wield power rather than submit to it. I take control of the lower minds lovingly by accepting all that arises, by embracing each experience through my master eyes and loving heart. I come to the knowing of what I should do, whatever experience it may be, simply by trusting and surrendering to the divine, trusting and surrendering to life. I am a master being of light, walking this path of love. I am ready to come down from the cross. I am ready to experience this initiation of power, to reclaim my power. And I do so by deepening into the 0 point, eternal, ever-present now moment, to hear the symphony of light. I hear it in my higher mind as I experience a recalibration of the pituitary, pineal, hypothalamus, and thalamus glands. I hear it in my loving heart, in the stillness of the innocence of my soul. I hear it in my inner ears, through the ringing of the downloads and tones and key codes of light. I hear it in my body in solar expansion, and I feel it, the gentle caress of the air. I ride this wave into the next level of my soul's blossoming and magnificence and light, deep into the eternal, timeless now moment and heart of God, listening to the universe, listening to life. I surrender to all that is. Ino soa ia kia, imo soa ia kina, imo soa ia. And lastly now, experience this final initiation, this initiation of selflessness. This is brought through the overlighting of Sanakamara, the element of water, to be fluid, to be flexible, to be flowing. It is also the mother energy, or that of the flying eagle. And it represents a vision of a woman uniting with the Holy Spirit, essence of the Divine Mother, leading by example, teaching the children in selflessness, not self-sacrifice, but selflessness. This is a beautiful white flame of purity and innocence, which draws me into the energy of being the mother, the father, to the inner child initially. And I feel this now in this beautiful temple, Sanat Kumara. I am ready at this moment in time to take on the role of greater service, knowing myself as a divine mother or divine father, knowing that I come from this place of wisdom, power, and love. And I do this now by accessing my divine, innocent child. My beloved, I am present, golden child. And as I do this, I find the Kundalini energy starting to ignite through the body and energy field. So Kundalini energy ignites, moves through each one of the chakras. And now through the secondary Kundalini channels from the feet, up the side of the legs, the side of the body, to the armpits and down the inside of the arms and up the hands. As this occurs, I have a sense of my divine feminine spirit to the right of me, my divine masculine spirit to the left of me. And now as the tantric channels activate, it ignites from the feet chakra, the inside of my legs to the G-spot at the base of the penis, the front of the body and out to the nipples. I find this balance of my masculine and feminine, loving my feminine, letting her know how much I love her, loving my masculine, letting him know how much I love him. And in this inner alchemical marriage, as the Kundalini ignites, as the serpent climbs the tree of life into the heart of wisdom, and beyond this into Ketu the crown, I embrace the golden child, the Christed child, the soul light, my kingdom, key to the heart of God. In Kaino Koa Kia Sina Kia Kia, Imo Soaia, in Kaino Koa. This is an initiation of selflessness and purity, activating the Shekinah glory through the base of the spine and moving this energy in this beautiful white ray for each one of the chakras now. From the base chakra to the sacral, solar plexus into the heart once more, to the thymus, the throat, third eye and the crown chakra. Every part of the white light of the Christed One ignites. Now, through the chakras into the central column, Antakarana, the rainbow bridge of light, breathing in love, breathing out love. So I hear in Kaino Koa, this flame that moves into my emotional body. It's one of purification, and it ignites too into the diamond light codes of Mother, Father, God. And with this, I am ready to experience the archetypal energy of the Divine Mother or the Divine Father. I am ready to step forward as the Mother Queen, the Father King. Hold this energy as the way show it to Mother Earth and all her life. And I ask for this initiation to be presented to me as I breathe into my heart of love, to the flame of wisdom, the flame of power, the flame of love, the flame of the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, the Divine Child, through this beautiful white ray of purity and innocence. I realize that I am ready now to enter to my heart's secret chamber. There is only love, and all this chamber presents to me is love. Where there is no way I need to be except within my loving heart, to this 8-petaled chakra of divine love. As I now experience myself moving to the 0 point, energy through the threefold flame, power, love, and wisdom into my loving heart. I become love. I merge with all 12 higher selves, 12 soul rays of each higher self. My mer self, my fairy self, my angelic self, my Lemurian self, my dolphin self, my Atlantean self, ancient Egyptian self, my Mayan self, my Aztec self. My future self, all in this now, in this moment, as I find myself simply in the heart of love, breathing in love, breathing out love. I am love. I am love. I am a lover of creation. I am a lover of life. And I am love in all her facets and beauty and extensions of life. And I am ready now to experience a solar Christ initiation. I find myself surrounded now by Lord Maitreya, Lord Buddha, Sanakamara, Jesus the Christ. Finding myself in a solar temple of light. As this beautiful sun expands from within my loving heart. And as I connect into the inner earth sun, into the sun, the central sun and the great central sun, through my ascension column, all my chakras start to merge into one unified field of light. I am ready for the resurrection ascension codes, and the remembrance and feeling and experience the newest templates in every fiber of my being, within every subatomic particle of my beingness. I am ready. I am ready. So Nakamura now takes his golden rod of light and ignites the sun codes of solar Christ consciousness through my heart and upper heart, my golden heart, my pathway of service to all life on this sacred earth. As I sit within the secret chamber of my loving heart, I experience now solar Christ ignite and light the four directions, the four gates, four lower bodies, physical, etheric, emotional, and mental. I allow the sun codes to bring through the deepest level of solar Christ consciousness I can experience in this now moment, through all timelines, realities, parallel realities, dimensions, gateways, stargates, and realities of unity consciousness. Wrapped once more in this golden yellow flame of wisdom, pink flame of love, this blue flame of power, this white flame of purity, innocence, and love. And around this, now the golden flame of unity consciousness, the diamond flame of Mother, Father, God. I am here. I have arrived. And so it is. And so it is. Last breath now I suck in as though sucking in through a straw and blowing out. Inokia kinasi aiakia. Inkaino koakia. And I thank all the masters, all the guides, and my own beloved I am present with this energy of soul embodiment as I travel back now to my sacred space, grounding once more into the crystal heart of Mother Earth, while keeping this connection open to all the illumined beings of light from on high. And so it is. And so it is. Kaino koakia, imoso aia. Great. Good. So we are joined here today by Suzanne. She's come on as one of the panelists to join us too. There you are, Suzanne. Welcome.
Thank you.
Have you? So I actually have to say I really did enjoy that. You know, it was a very gentle on one level, having worked with that threefold flame for quite a while of power, love, and wisdom, but a new level of it, and particularly having experienced that solar cross initiation a few weeks ago, wanting to know a little bit more about what it was actually about. Because what I find that I often experience is, you know, I go through the initiations or the experience, and then, you know, from that, that's how the teachings unfold. So those inner plane connections are made, and then it's like, you know, kind of we're putting it out there and sharing it with others, which is really quite beautiful. So in this instance, you know, it was very clear for me when I was having that solar cross initiation at that time. It was the dweller on the threshold that we were going beyond. It was kind of like saying, like, really, this is like taking a complete leap of faith. And as we're doing that, we're releasing not only the fears, but we're dropping density at the same time. We're releasing those old timelines. We're either embracing the fear, letting it go, all the lower mind stuff. So it was just quite beautifully expressed, or quite gently expressed in this transmission. And it was just quite lovely that, you know, when I don't know when it was, you know, I think probably towards the beginning of the week, I was just saying, oh, wouldn't mind just a little bit more information on actually what the solar cross initiation is about. And you know, just being completely guided to a page that, well, I didn't call it a solar cross initiation, but to one of Elizabeth Clare Prophet's teachings that quite elaborated on that. And it's interesting too, because I find myself often connecting on the inner planes to Elizabeth Clare Prophet. Just sad that I actually didn't really know her when she was here. I don't know if anyone in our group does, but yeah, you know, I didn't really go too deep into those teachings, although certainly, you know, we are initiates, and many of us have been initiates for years. So I'm enjoying finding these little pieces or nuggets, as I call them, nuggets of wisdom that I come across. How did you find that, Suzanne?
You know, I found that to be, it was deeply moving for me, because for maybe the first time in all these years of us doing these together, I did like a repeat after me with you I maintained it almost through the entire, you know, the entire time, except when you're doing light language or toning or something where I was just receiving. And I found that was very, it really was empowering, and also I could feel everything more deeply by doing, repeating your words. You know, sometimes I get lost. I try to do that and I get lost, and I go into a quiet mode and I listen and I remember what I was doing. This is in past activations, but in this one, I was more empowered to be able to do that with you without losing myself. And that just felt amazing. I could actually really feel, and I was totally with you as we went through every step of that. So I hope that helps other people if they want to try to go through this again, if they did not repeat your words and say it as their own voice. I also found it to be deeply clearing, especially because we've gone through a lot of this kind of healing before, but we did it in a very kind of a different way this time. And I have to say that I also have been prepared for this too for about a week or maybe all month, because I was getting the guidance that this was the month of the Holy Trinity, the integrating of these very energies. We had 3 dates in the month of March that were like the 3-3-3 energy, like today.
No, I was going to mention this as well. Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to prompt you if you want to discuss that, because I feel like that energy may have been what brought you into your this initiation to then bring it to us. And I was feeling it building throughout the month. So I'm so grateful that this came through for you and that you could impart this to us.
Well, it is essentially that threefold flame of power, love, and wisdom. And then we were it through the solar cross, and then we were just taking it into deeper levels of purification. But it was also really interesting. I think it was just a couple of days ago I realized, oh, Trinity, here we go again, you know. And I absolutely love those Trinity gateways because they're just so completely powerful and gentle. Actually, today's energy has been quite gentle so far, but it has been, you know, kind of like we've just had quite a lot of that solar expansion. I've been feeling a lot of the heat that comes as a solar expansion, because the plasma crystalline frequency is more like your body gets quite cold, as though you've got a bit of a fever and you get a bit chillish. And then this one, it's just been the week of just having quite a lot of that solar radiation expansion, but much more gentle. You know, remember if we, you know, kind of, which is really nice going through a gateway and it's much more gentle, because we've had some of those gateways where they kind of blown you apart. They're just either so intense or you know, you actually have to go and lie down, or you actually can't even get up, you know. So
yeah, you know, these have felt more integrating than, you know, really turning us upside down and causing us to just have to really only totally rest. We've been able to, you know, we've needed maybe times of quiet and just, you know, being in our space and you know, reflecting upon what it is are we releasing and what's coming through. How are we deepening into our earth service path? That kind of guidance has also been coming to me. I'm sure you as well.
Well, there's been 2 things. One is deeper levels of power, you know, because this thing with it, you know, even giving your power to fears, isn't it? You know, that's still being on the cross. So it's like really releasing completely that victim persecutor consciousness. So we're not up on the cross. We're not crucified.
Yes.
We're actually in this process of resurrection and ascension and remembrance and, you know, activation of our own beautiful light bodies and bodies as temple in the soul embodiment process. So it came up really quite strongly the last couple of weeks, this energy of power and the energy of the Divine Father. So this initiation of the solar cross, when I experienced it for me, was very much the energy of the Divine Father. And then I noticed on Facebook, everyone was kind of, I saw a lot of sun pictures were coming into, there was someone, I can't remember who it was, it could have been Sextina, who actually took a video image of the sun was coming into the water and it kind of crossed exactly like the solar cross. It was just absolutely amazing. And that was truly like almost the day after I had experienced that inner plane initiation. And I thought, wow, absolutely amazing confirmation, but so much too about the solar sun codes because of that expansion. So that was the one side. And then this week, you know, because the other big thing that's rapidly occurring as we deepen into our own power is change. Change is inevitable, but we are asked to so deeply move with such great flexibility that sometimes we're still a little bit stuck. There's like, you know, that stuckness is just kind of like as we're just moving through boom, boom, boom of old frequencies, energies, frozen miasms, and the body's not quite responding quite as quickly as the change is shifting us. So we still feel a little bit of like we're spinning a bit and then we kind of center. And this week was spinning a little bit, that lots of change going on with people, things coming up, very interesting. So, you know, I feel it's just escalation of just next level releases to be able to hold us now just completely into just a deeper level of empowerment, more than anything else, because of, you know, that essence of love was obviously, I think, one of the first flames we pick up. And then we move into deeper levels of wisdom, but it's a flame of power, or that energy of empowerment that completely releases us from every level of addiction, every level of victim persecutor consciousness, every level of lesser than, better than consciousness, judgment, blame, and so on. So it's a very, very beautiful one to actually not only be aware of, but actually know that that's what we're experiencing, because as we experience that, then we're shifting frequency once more into a slightly higher bandwidth. And as we hold in deeper levels of conscious awareness, everything, it just bounces off us. Whatever people are going through and whatever isn't part of our reality is the reality of unity, it bounces off. It's only when we're still at that clearing level where we're releasing a lot, and this is what I was explaining at the beginning, that we come back into those timelines that we're jumping, karmic and crisis timelines, or fifth dimensional templatings and earth templatings, old earth templatings. And that's then when we, you know, still experiencing kind of the frequency energy of others, is when our vibration is a little bit lower. Because the moment we keep our vibration steady at a particular frequency where there is only love, then all of that, you know, might be part of it. It's still going on around us, but actually energy is a lot less affected.
Yeah, I can see that as well with you happening and feel that. I've also come across, you might want to, this might be, feels like something that the people who are a part of this webinar might want you to speak to. Have you also, it may not be happening in your direct life, I have seen it on Facebook, I've had it happen with a friend and so on. As those things are happening, but we're finding ourselves in a higher vibration while it's happening. So we're observing it more than we're getting drawn back into it. What would be your, you know, guidance and wisdom to give to everyone as to how to communicate with that situation or the people that this is happening with from that higher vantage, from that higher place that isn't really getting drawn into the chaos and drama, but wants to handle it in the most loving and conscious way, so that everyone is benefited that's involved, whether it's a close friendship or a friend and someone you admired that you've been, you know, following, or just parts of communities and so on. And you're seeing this like strange disparity, right, in where I am and what they're communicating to me, and I don't know how to handle this. And we don't want to just not communicate with them any longer or feel like we have to remove ourselves from something. There's got to be a way, right, to communicate our feelings without hurting their feelings, say, or really communicating from the heart in that loving way so that we're really conveying what we want to say.
Well, I think there's, you know, obviously it's dependent on unique situations. One, of course, we must always just come from the heart of love and transparency, and as the observer first. And what often happens, because we're energetically sensitive, I see with me, if I'm just having a busy day or more computer time, which seems to have just been more recently the last couple of months, because I've had to, I would say unfortunate, but, you know, I don't really, my body can only take up to X amount of electromagnetic frequencies, and it's just unhappy. And I've had a lot of that. So that is probably for many people like a normal part of their lives, where they're doing a lot of electromagnetic frequency. They may be not getting out so much, although they're still lifting their frequency because they're doing the music or the good food, or, you know, at least taking time to look after their bodies, or, you know, take time for themselves in their own meditation. But we're also bombarded or affected by so many other frequencies. So let's just assume, you know, that as a person holding that space of love, but having vulnerabilities in your energy field. The moment you have vulnerabilities still in your own energy field, what happens is it can be very quickly triggered by the people around you still. So the very first big thing is always that your own field is strengthened. But let us just imagine two scenarios here. One is where you're usually in that state of consciousness and you're holding the flame of love, but you're having to live, where you're having to work, and your electromagnetic frequencies and radio computer waves and whatever this is, your field is still in a state of vulnerability. So if someone comes in there very angry, or your energy is tired, and, because we work hard too, there's just a lot of pieces that we're bringing together. And we might be at that time when we're needing that time out, because it's different sometimes that we're in that introspective space, and sometimes we're more kind of social, if you want to put it that way. So depending on the circumstance, we may be triggered and our frequency immediately drops to the frequency of the person around us. So if they're getting angry or upset or shouting, what happens is it's like a flame that just envelops you and engulfs you. And if you're in a state of vulnerability, no matter that for the most part you hold that consciousness, you won't respond in a way that you could do. So that's the one thing, the first thing. And so then you find yourself kind of being drawn into that energy a little bit. And you may also just, as that person is miscommunicating or saying bad things, you may feel defensive. Or, if you at least just breathe and, observe, not to say anything. You might have to take yourself away from the situation first. Or if it's something that someone's written, think about it before responding. Because it can be trigger points. It's still trigger points. And then you get to that point where actually just, you're living a beautifully balanced life, and there's very, very little that ripples into that energy, although all programmings are still dissolving. There's those programmings continue, but it's observing it or feeling it moving out the body, which can also be quite intense. But it isn't a catalytic or reflective experience where you need another in that reality. So the moment you're still attracting it, it's on one level to see how far you've come, or something that you're still working with. And then it's depending on your responses, depending on your levels of vulnerability and expansion of your own energy fields. Because if your energy field is really expanded, what will happen mostly is that person around you or people around you are going to have a negative response, a neutral response, or a positive response. That is just how it is. But I find for the most part, for my energy field, it doesn't really bring in people that are very negative. It mostly, just brings in people that might need assistance. And then it comes with its clear boundaries, that at that level of what you can give and what you can't give, as an example, because we are always in service and we're in service to others, but that's where the empowerment comes in. And then the wisdom of the higher mind guides you intuitively as to, what is the most appropriate way to deal with the situation. And the loving heart is the energy of compassion that we give to another when we are working with that. But if it's a karmic situation, still it's much more difficult, because we are still in that process of clearing. And the moment we're in clearing mode, we're still doing karmic timelines with Christed timelines. So that is really to observe, is this a karmic situation of a karmic, a family member? Those are all triggers in karmic situations. So the way that we respond is still a learning lesson for us, which means we're triggered. And while we're still triggered, it's okay. We just embrace it, no matter how uncomfortable it is. We withdraw ourselves as much as we can from that energy, that situation, because if it's scary or uncomfortable, try not to be around it. But that is a little bit different than to other dealings where, if someone is saying something, or if they're being rude, or if they're saying things that aren't your reality, you just delete them. There is nothing, I mean, it's not so often, but occasionally I'll get some emails from people telling me things that really are not my reality, and you just bless them and delete it. You don't get involved, because it's not your reality. And you don't have to think anything. You don't have to judge them even. You just don't take it in. You're in that neutral space of love, but you're also in a place of detachment. That's the observer. The observer is the beloved I am that is noticing what is going on. That's that realm of consciousness. And then in the realm of consciousness, then there's still some triggers, because we're still clearing. And even within that realm, then it's like, I see for me, my kids are triggers. They can be having a long day, busy day, life is tough, too much electromagnetic frequencies, not enough walks on the beach, and they're doing something can very quickly trigger. And then it's for you to just, how do you respond? Withdraw yourself until you can be calm. Okay? Do the breathing, because the breathing increases your frequency. The breathing expands your frequency. That is the very first thing. And if you can't withdraw yourself from the situation, then you have to, again, just breathe and be calm. Send the pink flame of love from your heart to theirs and let them have their say. You know, the thing is, if you start responding and dancing with them, that is going to be a long play. If you just listen, even if you are mad or upset or judgmental, you don't have to express that, because the moment you express that, you're doing the dance with them. So you just let them have their say. You don't even have to say anything. You know, just let them have their say, and then either walk away or say like just a couple of words that are gentle and calm, that says, okay, I think, you know, we both just need a little bit of a break. I'll chat to you about this later. Something that doesn't make them feel like you haven't heard them, because when you stand there, and when you stand there, at least you're giving them an audience, and it's how they choose to respond is based on their level of conscious awareness. And your choice of response then is either going to be back in entanglement because it's still karmic stuff that you're dealing with, or even if it is still karmic stuff, you can just breathe and be quiet. Just you don't have to get involved. Let them speak it, express it, and know that you can say to yourself, even, I'm feeling mad or angry right now, and what I know is I need to take myself out of this situation. Unless, of course, that person is so verbally abusive, you can't be there. You must walk away, you know, as much as you can. But if you know that you just need to let them sometimes express themselves, and then it dissipates, and you can have a conversation. And if you reach that point, great. But otherwise, what I've seen in my own reality in dealing with situations like that is the best thing for me is actually I just listen, and then I say something, let's chat a bit later. Or I might even say, I'm sorry. It doesn't really matter. Even if it's not my fault, it's like you want to diffuse the situation because you know you can, because you have another lens of truth that person hasn't reached yet. So, but at the same time, transparency, being direct. A lot of people, for example, for me, sound quite masculine. I can be just quite forthright and direct. And I guess maybe they imagine that that's something that females don't do, that feel a little bit more flowery, or I don't know, you know, tiptoeing around something. Whereas if you're just forthright and direct, it's a very empowering experience as well. You know, and you don't even need to take it on. You can say, I can see that, you know, you're really upset about this, and I'm sorry that I was the catalyst for that, but maybe that's a good thing, and we can talk about it later. And I know maybe without, you know, making personal examples with us, that we all have some stuff. And the best thing to do is to really just breathe your own resentment, your own anger in your own space, because you definitely can't really do that if you're doing a dance with someone else that has that energy at that moment. I don't know if it's helpful.
Yeah, that's beautiful and very helpful. And I think that there are a lot of people listening that can apply that to the situations in their life. In the particular situation, you know, that that has happened with me. I did handle it in the way you described in there a little bit. I also was able to see in a couple situations that have happened over this course of this month, how they might have been the completion of a karmic cycle. And so I was able to say, okay, I understand why this is happening. I can handle it in such a way that, because I'm understanding it's not to be, you know, for me to put my energy and to ignite this and take it further. It's to allow this to be loved and to clear out. So that's also been helpful too, to have a higher understanding. There also is something I think that people, it would be great to talk about that came up, that was part of our initiation today, and people may be confused about. And some of that is around self-sacrifice and understanding that we're not meant to self-sacrifice ourselves in, you know, abusive or relationships or situations that are not healthy for us. But this is a different type of self-sacrifice we're talking about now, in terms of this initiation and how we're moving into a different relationship with that in our new earth, you know, in our earth service at a very much deeper level now. So I don't know if there's anything you want to explain around that for people so they're not confused.
Well, obviously, when we're talking about self-sacrifice, what we're talking about there is the releasing on, of kind of like oppositions mostly, it's kind of saying that, that while we can have it, it's not important it's not that we have to give it up, but it can't be the focus, because really what it is about letting go and letting God. And the primary focus for all of us as light workers is that connection that we have with God and our beloved I am presence. So the self-sacrifice then is saying, if we are around a lot of people that don't have those same beliefs, understandings on that side, then, we have to make that choice of releasing it. And sometimes it's even, it's not letting go of family, and I'm not, saying to anyone to divorce your partners or whatever. It's more about recognizing that higher calling. That's what we talk about in terms of self-sacrifice. So that's the first thing. And then also, while material possessions are nice, and we need money because we live in that earth template where it's very useful for a lot of things, our focus is not on money. Our focus is on joy and love and happiness and serving others. And when we do that from the soul perspective, then money naturally follows. And it can take a little bit of time. It can take a bit of time to get into that headspace, and it can take a little bit of time for that abundance to drop in. You have to actually honor that perfect timing as well. But what happens is when we're in that between space, it's very easy to drop back into the lesser than and better than consciousness, because it's a frequency shift that says, I'm following my heart, I'm following my soul, and yet where's my abundance? And the it's there universally. And it's in its perfect moment will gather momentum. And until then, we actually just have to be patient. And the point where people lose faith too on that level, as an example, this is one example of many, prior to every situation, but I want to apply to this because this is also kind of like, it seems like a general something going on here with it that I'm picking up. So that is really also just the recognition that, really just that all we got to do is just keep trusting and surrendering. So these self-sacrifice was one of selflessness, is one of service. This is an initiation of service. That's why we're calling it the path of earth service. So it's trust, it's surrender, it's selflessness, it's self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice is simply saying that God is my light, that I am the bride of God, or I am the groom of God. And beyond that, then every other relationship forms.
Yes. And that is beautiful. That I love when you talk about this, because it is the way that I have lived much of my life, as you know, at least in the last probably 15 years. And that's how we connected. And it is for those that may be in that path, but you're right. If they're feeling like, wow, I serve humanity, I serve God, and I'm in service to those that I'm guided to support and serve in my life. And if their lives aren't, they don't have that, say, abundance flowing in, or whether they just haven't come fully into what they're going to be doing in their earth service path quite yet, it's building, it's coming together. And it does take a great deal of trust and patience. And I hope that everyone will begin to feel and hear the wisdom and guidance that's coming to them now around the next step here for them, right? Where
actually, the next step is for all of us is that as we come into the heart of love, then we're creating that universal field of love. And so what we're doing is we're coming together more and more now. And as that field of love or light or unity is strengthened, then what happens is it starts to touch the souls of others. And in that force field of love, or that force field of divine love, that is actually expands those abundance gifts as well. So it's a very different thing coming from that soul perspective. And that is what's happening now, so that we can start to create for everyone the new earth templates of abundance.
Yes, that's beautiful. And what's beautiful about that is that we really are connecting through the heart, the voices of the Light Tribe, but, with the entire community of people that have been participating in these events from around the world globally, and with others that are part of the voices of Light Tribe that you've gathered from around the world. That's a very big group of people that have been working together for a long time, creating that template.
Exactly. And there's so many of those templates coming online for so many of us. It's a very, very exciting time. That's wonderful, Suzanne. I don't know if you have any last questions, because I think we're going to sort of end this today. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I really do, what I have really enjoyed about the last series of webinars we've been doing is I'm really feeling that Christos Sophia energy growing within me, and I can only, feel and into that it's happening for others, that we're really building, together with that. And growing, and that even when we're not together as much in these webinars, these energies are still working with us, and we're doing a lot of inner work, and we're still connected.
Yes, how wonderful!
And I also wanted to share that this heart has been something I have held through years of our events. It's a rose quartz heart. My kitty Sophia came over when we were finished, and she was knocking it off the table here. You couldn't see her, but she was like right over here, and she knocked it back into my hand, even though I had put it down when we were talking. So I had thought about sharing that. I have held this while I would connect to everyone attending these webinars as I would prepare and connect to you now for many years. So it's like our heart. This is our little
absolutely amazing mesh with
yeah.
I'm just holding it in my hand. So this one was sitting on the table.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I have a couple other crystals around us, but this one and that's beautiful. That, I wanted everyone to know that their hearts have been, together and connected. They're not, even though we're not all on here and everyone's around the world, in their sacred spaces when we do these, or listening on replays, at times when they cannot make it live, that they are part of this heart. Yeah, their energy is here.
I feel that. I feel that really heartfelt connection with all of us, and it's truly absolutely wonderful. So just before I end, I just wanted to ask, did I disappear a little bit at some point? Was I talking but you couldn't hear me?
I heard you completely the entire time, but you never faded out for me. We heard a little dog barking, in the background, which we've heard, in the past. It happens, but that was the only.
That was the beginning part. The neighbors were coming home and their dogs.
Yeah, but I don't think you.
I put it on. I put it on. Okay, so that's what I did. Is I put it on silent for a bit, and then I wasn't sure how long it was on for. So I think.
That's really? Okay.
I muted it.
I didn't even know.
I muted it for a little bit, and then I looked at it and I couldn't remember, because you get quite caught in the transmission. Oh, yes, where was I?
Yeah, it wasn't, if you did, it was a short little segment. It was short enough that I thought you intended it to just give us time to process a little bit there. Now I do remember what you mean, but I felt like it was a very good moment of integration, maybe 30 seconds. It wasn't long. It was not long. Okay. Good timing. Divine timing.
Thank you very much, Suzanne, for all your feedback and for everyone joining us. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you, and we look forward to further co-creations. So from my heart and to yours, and from Suzanne's heart and to yours, blessings in love. Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah.